भद्रं
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah Harihi Om. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Deva Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Tirairange Sutrabhagam Sastanobi Visema Deva Itayadayo Swasti na Indra Dhrashtavaha Swasti na Posha Vishwavedha Swasti nastacchyo aristanemihi swasti no brahaspatir Om Shanti 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 Om Agni Naya Supataraye Asman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidvan Yujodhyatma Juhurana Meno Vo Istante Nama Vuktim Videma Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
Om Brahman Brahmano Brahma Varchasi Jayatam Arastre Rajanya Shura Ishavyoti Vyadi Aharato Jayatam Dogridde Durpoda Dadvan Ashusapte Purandir Yosha Jishnu Rateshta Tabeyo Yuva Asya Yajabadasya Viro Jayatam Nikame Nikame Avarjanyo Navashchatu Alavatyo Navoshanayah Pachantam Yogakchevo Napalpetam Om Shanti 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 Om Apyantamamangani Vakpranashchakshusho Shrotrapato Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakurya Mama Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranamastu Anirakaranam Me Astu Tadatmani Nirateya Upanishatsu Dharma Te Mayi Santo Om Shanti 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 Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnabhadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat.
So very happy to have another session upon Svetasvataropanishad. Svetasvatara, we noted he is a seer by name Svetasvatara on one hand, and also there is Sveta is white, Asvatara is something more than the horse, so it is called mule or anything like that. But it talks about the what is that is being described in 113 mantras, covering 6 chapters in the entire Upanishad. So we understand slow growth in this particular Upanishad. To begin with, some Brahmavadins meet who wanted to know what is Atma, what is Brahma, why are we born, how you are all living, what is the kind of fame or sampratishtha, and by whom we are all presided by for our good and bad, happiness and unhappiness. A question of inquiry into the existence of the world, existence of ourselves, and what is the work that we are going to do. Then when Brahmavadins have started that kind of goshti, then there is also an answer found to them, as we see in the second paragraph. And they were able to realize the Devatma Shakti through the Dhyana Yoga Upasana, through meditation. And they realized in the fourth sloka or mantra that the whole universe is like the wheel, and wheel must have spokes, it must have the wheel rim and all that. So all that has been described to us and regarding their number. So, Pancha Srota Ambum Pancha Yoni Ugravaktram Pancha Pranai Prana Urmi Pancha Buddhyadi Moolam Panchavartam Pancha Dukkhavabu Dukkhaughavegam Pancha Sadbhetam Pancha Parvam Adhimaha Sarva Jive Swarsamste Bruhante Asmin Hamso Pramyate Brahmachakre. So in Brahmachakra, that is the universe of the so here Yenu is Andre, there is a Deha Atma Shakti is there, self-conscious power, and that has got to be controlled by own senses. And that could be done how the marga has been prescribed to us. And when once you know Brahmavidaha viditva linaha brahmani. So those people who are able to understand the wheel of universe and what is that wheel containing the samsara chakra, then what would be happening? They are the Brahma Vidas, knowing about the knowledge regarding the Brahma. And when once you know about Brahma, it's called as Brahma Gnana. All Gnanam that we are able to acquire is not at all superior, but real superior knowledge is regarding the Brahma Gnana. So when we have got all information and realization about the knowledge regarding Brahma through the constant practice of meditation. And we know practice of meditation, everybody has been prescribed, whatever be the duration, in the form of Sandhya Vandana, Agni Karya, Devatarchana, and Dhyana Yoga. So asana pranayame yoga, and you go on doing that bhuvaha, suvaha, and all that. So all that will be a matter of practice, which has got to be done periodically per day. And then once you get hold of that, then Brahmani Lina Bhavanti. It is about 7th paragraph, 7th mantra, which we have already covered, but I am trying to refresh your memory. That your memory should be knowing that having been born, we are not only to be contented with the enjoyments provided to us through the indriyas and through the atmosphere, through the number of things, but they all are all perishable. They are all not constant. So Lina means linga. So when once you get merged into Brahma, you become Brahma only. So Brahmani Lina, Brahma eva bhavanti. So what do you mean by Brahmalinatvam, Brahmalayatvam? That is, those people who are engrossed in that, they all become Yoni Muktaha. So Yoni Muktaha means they lose the seat of rebirth. So there are so many yonis through which the jivas come into the world. So all those yonis are being transferred. So when there is no scope to be born, when there is no yoni or seed to be born through, then we are all mokshas. Then in the 8th mantra, we have already seen Samyuktam etatu. It is clubbed together with what it is Dvandva. See, always you see Dvandva, but we have got to get over the Dvandva, get into the Anishatva, and that is called as Linatvam. Siksharam, Aksharam, Vyaktam, Avyaktam. And so these are all the two things we see in the world. And then Sharam means Nashanam. perishable. Aksharam is not perishable. So similarly, Vyaktam, visible, manifesting. Avyaktam, not manifesting. But who is going to bear this kind of duality in the world to show forth? It is Ishaha, Vishwam Ishaha. And Ishvara is the holder to show you this. Ultimately, he combines them both, and that when both are combined, then it becomes one, and that one is the Paramatma. And in the eighth mantra, we have seen also Anishahata Atma Badhyate Bhaktru. So normally the Ishvara, I mean the Atma inside us, Atma has two meanings. One is the Sariram and another is the super soul, which is seated in all Sariras. But what is the journey of persons who hold the body all through the time, maybe 10 decades or 5 decades? So they have to realize they have to be always having the Bhoktru Bhava, and Bhoktru Bhava Ajnatva. So we think that we're all the enjoyer and to be enjoyed. So because of this, Bhoktru Bhavat, when once you are able to realize that you are not the enjoyer, though there is enjoyment totally, and you are somebody great, something more, that Atma is something powerful and super, then when once you realize your own Atma, your own super self seated in us, then what would be that? Uchyate sarva pasaihi. So we have a number of pashas, ropes tying us up, strings to tie us. So these strings alla onsala kattadrene namge relief baratte. That's exactly what we call as self-knowledge. Now in English ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, self-knowledge, self-enlightenment, self-realization, self-attainment, self-entertainment, ಇವೆಲ್ಲ self ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. That self you refer to is the Daiva Atma Shakti or Deha Atma Shakti. ಆ ದೇಹದಲ್ಲಿ ಗೂಢವಾಗಿರುವ ಆತ್ಮಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನ ನೀವು ಅನ್ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Actually, that Dehatma Shakti is being crowded or shrouded with the Indriyas, Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas, Antak. So, ನಮ್ಗೇನಂದ್ರೆ ಭಾಷೆಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಸುತ್ತಾಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಭಾಷೆಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ, what is ಭಾಷಾ? Feelings, sentiments, emotions, attachments, all these things are there. So a mother is attached to child in spite of child being whatever. And sometimes some children also are enticed to their parents and they remain not marrying even, sacrifice not going for a better jobs. There are people like that who are attached to the samsaram, who are attached to the house. They don't want to go away from the house. So ತ್ಯಾಗ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆ ತ್ಯಾಗ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು ಇದ್ರೆ there is going to be growth and change and development. ಬಟ್ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಆ ತ್ಯಾಗವನ್ನು ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾರೂ ಸಿದ್ಧರಾಗಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. See, there won't be people who are ready to do any kind of sacrifice. Therefore, he said, but avalla bhoktru bhava gnatva, not exactly you are the enjoyer. There is already enjoyer who has given the enjoyment to us. ಆ ಎಂಜಾಯರ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಬರಬೇಕು. And that enjoyer will show you the Paramatma who is seated in you, that Dehatma Shakti, that will be only showing to you more and more attractions. ಅದರಿಂದ ಅದನ್ನ ನೀನು ಗೊತ್ತು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಆವಾಗ ಪಾಶ ವಿಮುಕ್ತಿ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಸಿ ಪಾಶಹಂತಾರಂ So who is Pasahanta? Is Isha Vishwam. So that Pasahanta is Iswara. His Anugraha is one. And in the 9th mantra, we have already seen Gna Agnau Dvau Jiva Sani Sava Ishava Aja Ekaha Eka Bhoktru Bhogyartha Yukta. So Bhoktru Bhogya Artha. So these are the three things which are enticing us. We have not also noted that Gna is knower. Agna is not knower. So you have to travel from Agnana or Agna to Gnana. That's exactly what we call it. Kshetrajna Bhava in Bhagavad Gita. So our journey in birth is to acquire Adhyatma Gnana, rather spiritual. And Jiva, Isha, Anisha, all these things are there. Dandvatva is there. But what we have got to travel is Dandvatitaha Nirmatsaraha Antare. ಈ ದ್ವಂದ್ವವನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾರಿಸನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ there is no end at all. But when once you are able to transcend the comparison levels, then you will get the ekatvam. So ekatvam, oneness, something like the two eyes. Though eyes are two, but the object that the two eyes together see is only one. ಹೌದಾ ಮುನ್ರಾಜ್ ಅವರೇ? ಎರಡು ಕಣ್ಣುಗಳಿದ್ರು ದೃಶ್ಯ ಪದಾರ್ಥ ಯಾವುದು ಒಂದೇ.
What a good example, sir.
ಅದು ಎರಡ ಕಾಣೋದಿಲ್ಲ. If there is no dosha in the eyes.
Yes, sir.
ಕಣ್ಣಲ್ಲಿ ದೋಷ ಇದ್ರೆ ಎರಡ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ.
Yes,
Manju will be telling us. So, but ಎರಡ ಕಾಣದೆ ಒಂದ ಕಾಣೋದು ಸಮದೃಷ್ಟಿ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಸಮತ್ವಂ ಯೋಗ ಉಚ್ಯತೆ ಅಂತ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದಾರಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಯಲ್ ಯೋಗ? ಸಮತ್ವಂ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಣ್ಣುಗಳು ಎರಡಾದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ನೋಡೋ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಒಂದೇ. ಹೌದಾ?
Yes, sir. Perfect.
ಮಂಜು ಅವರು ಸಿ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಏಕಃ ಭೋಕ್ತೃ ಭೋಗ್ಯ ಅರ್ಥಯುಕ್ತ. ಭೋಕ್ತೃ ಅಂಡ್ ಭೋಗ್ಯ. ಭೋಕ್ತೃ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಂಜಾಯರ್. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ 9th one. And bhogya andre to be enjoyed. And artha is the sight, vision. So that's why ಜ್ಞಾ ಅಂಡ್ ಅಜ್ಞಾ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿ ದ್ವಂದ್ವವೇ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ದ್ವಂದ್ವಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಪ್ರಾಧಾನ್ಯ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಎಸ್ಕೇಪ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ. Therefore, we have got to have some ಇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳನ್ನ ಡಿಸಿಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕೂಡ ನೋಡಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ we have to go up. And in the next line, we have already seen in the last session, Atma Anantaha, Atma Vishwarupaha, Atma Hi Karta, Atma Karta Trayam, and Yada Vindate Etat Brahma. ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಶ್ವೇತಾಶ್ವತರ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ ಆತ್ಮ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅನಂತ. There is no end for the Atma, because the Atma Shuddhi, Atma Anubhava, Atma Moksha ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅನಂತಶ್ಚ ಆತ್ಮ. But the Atma is available to us in many forms. Vishwarupa means Rupa is form. Vishwa is many forms are available. And Akarta Trayam Yada Vindate. So when he is able to get hold of Akartratvam, then he will be, and Akartratvam means trying to make you as responsible for all that. But there is somebody who is responsible, who takes care of all that. And when you realize that, then you become a Brahma. Brahma entavradre, he is there, not born. He is there in all what is born, and therefore everybody who is born has got the installation of Brahma Rupam in them. So as a koskara, what people say Brahma Sabha and Brahmana and ellargu Sabha Bandhana ಒಂದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ anybody who has joined there, that particular person is almost Brahma Rupam. So etat Brahma tat vandate. ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠ ಪದಾರ್ಥ, ಯಾವುದು ಅಚಲವಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, but for temporary purposes in samsara, which will be manifesting with the dvandvatvam, then that particular Brahma you will become. And in the 10th paragraph, you also see Charam Pradhanam. These are the two things.
Aksharam Pradhana Namrtaksharam
Charam Pradhanam
Deva
and Amrutam Aksharam Haraha. Charatmanam Charatma Ishate Deva Ekaha. So this is a beautiful statement. Yeah. So Pradhanam is Omkara. Charam is all perishable syllables. So all samsaram is Charam. Pradhanam is Omkara. So when you make the Omkara Upasana, Pradhan or Pranavopasana, then you are able to realize the Atman, which is in our own body. So Charam Pradhanam and Amruta Aksharam and Amruta Aksharam. Amruta is immortal. Aksharam is not perishable. That is exactly what you call as Haraha. Haraha Shivaha. There are so many interpretations given forth to the Svetasvataropanishad. One interpretation you will come to know that entire Svetasvataropanishad is a eulogy of the Ishvara. Eulogy of the Parabrahma, the Supreme Being, or otherwise we call as Paramatma. Dehatma, Paramatma. We have two words. So Dehatmadalli Paramatma seat agidane. Adre namgiro samsarik engagements in the, we are not able to think of the Paramatma seated in our Deha. ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಹದಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಯು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಸೂಕ್ತಂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, ಆಪಾದತಲ ಮಸ್ತಕ, ಆ ಕೊನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಹೃದಯದಲ್ಲಿ he is there in the inverted heart form. ಆ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಸೂಕ್ತದಲ್ಲಿ we have got a clear picture of the Swarupam of Narayana, that and Amrita Swarupam of Narayana and Agni Swarupam of Narayana, and the size of the Narayana seated in us. Something like I told you, we have come to know that Bhagavad Gita, for us it is 700 slokas, for example. But 700 slokas to recite in the critical war area is not possible. So there was only 4 minutes time for all kinds of sea change in the mind of Arjuna. It is a change, sea change, and there was a huge change that occurred. So Charatmanam Avisate Deva Ekaha. So Ekaha Devaha, that Paramatma is there in us. Atmani Sarvadevata Tishtanti, and the Vanyasa. So Atmani Sarvadevata Tishtanti, Namma Atmadalli Yella Devatagal idare. ಆ ಆತ್ಮ ಯಾವುದು, ಸ್ವರೂಪ ಯಾವುದು, ಹೌ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ನೋ, ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಧ್ಯಾನ ಯೋಗಾತ್. ಈ ಧ್ಯಾನವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಸೀಕ್ರೆಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ವಿ ಸಿ ದಟ್ ಋಷೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಧ್ಯಾನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಸದಾ ವಾಲ್ಮೀಕಿ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಸದಾ ಧ್ಯಾನಪರೋ ರಾಮ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ರಾಮ ಧ್ಯಾನಪರ. ಅವಾಗ ಏಕತ್ವ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಗಾಡ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಇಟ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ 10th ತಸ್ಯ ಅಭಿಧ್ಯಾನಾತ್ ಯೋಜನಾತ್ ತತ್ವಭಾವಾತ್ ಅಂತೆ ವಿಶ್ವಮಾಯಾ ನಿವೃತ್ತಿ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಸೋ ಮೆನಿ ಹರ್ಡಲ್ಸ್. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಎ ಹಾರ್ಸ್ ರೇಸ್. ಈ ರೇಸ್ ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಕೆಲವೆಲ್ಲ ಅಡ್ಡಗಳು ಇಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ವಾ. ವೈಲ್ ದಿ ಹಾರ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಜಂಪಿಂಗ್, it has also got to jump the hurdles. Plain track ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹರ್ಡಲ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. I don't know the technical word, but we observe the horse has to jump them to get on to the track. ಹಾಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಏನಿದೆ, ಅಭಿಧ್ಯಾನ, ಯೋಜನ, ಆತ್ತತ್ವ ಭಾವ. These are all the 3 things required. That is, ಅಭಿಧ್ಯಾನ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯೋಗ, ಓಂಕಾರೋಪಾಸನ. ಯೋಜನ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯೋಗ. ಅಂಡ್ ತತ್ವಭಾವ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದ ಸೀಕಿಂಗ್ ದ ರಿಯಾಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ. ಅಂಡ್ ಅಂತೆ ಭೂಯ, ಈ ತರಹ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಎ ಕ್ಲೌಡಿಂಗ್. ಮಾಯಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕ್ಲೌಡ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕವರ್ ಅಪ್ ಬಟ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಿಲ್ ಮೇಕ್ ದ ರಿಯಾಲಿಟಿ ಕನ್ಸೀಲ್ಡ್. ರಿಯಾಲಿಟಿ, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಬೂದಿ ಕೆಂಡ ಮೇಲೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ದಟ್ ನಿಪ್ಪು ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ವಿಸಿಬಲ್ unless you blow out. That blowing out is what is called as abhidhyanat, yojanat, tattvabhavat. These are all the 3 measures which have been promoted or suggested by the Rishi if you want to get over the Vishwamaya. Maya is a Shakti. ಈ ವಿಶ್ವ ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಓವರ್ಸೀಡ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಗಾಟ್ ಟು ನೋಟ್ ಇಟ್. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ಕವರ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ದಿ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವಿದಾಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವಾದಿನ್ಸ್. ಅಂದರೆ ನಮಗೆ ವಿ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ರೆಸ್ಟ್. ರಿಟೈರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀನಪ್ಪ, ಐ ಗಾಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಮೈ ಹೌಸ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ತೃಪ್ತಿ ಪಡೋದಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಟ್ ಆಲ್ recommendable one from our ವೇದಾಂತಿ ಜ್ಞಾನ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಶಾಂತಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಅನುಭವಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡಬೇಕು. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ವೆನ್ ಯು ರಿಟೈರ್, ಯುವರ್ 10 to 5 o'clock ಟೈಮ್ ಈಸ್ ಯುವರ್ಸ್ ಓನ್. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಹೋಗೋ ಕೆಲಸ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಾಸ್ಗೆ ಸೆಲ್ಯೂಟ್ ಹೊಡೆಯೋ ಕೆಲಸ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕೊಲೀಗ್ಸನ್ನು ಮಾತಾಡಿಸೋ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಡೂ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಗೋ ಟು ಆಫೀಸ್ become stopped. So the whole time is available to us. That's why it is abhidhyana, yojana and tattva bhava. Tattva bhava andrenu belief in the existence and the reality of the God. ದೇವರು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರೆ, ದೇವರು ಅನ್ನೋ ಶಬ್ದ ಹೇಳಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣನೇ ಯು ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಹೈಯರ್ ಪವರ್ that is seated in us, that is monitoring us. Something like you have remote in your hand, TV is on, there are 363 channels, alwa. So what are you doing? You are not satisfied with any channel to go on, but keep on pressing the button. And as you are pressing the button, the Maya will be hovering over you. So if you want to get rid of the Maya, you should find that particular channel which you have been witnessing, and then once you channel, you find out, then that Maya nivrutti takes place. pravrutti and nivrutti. These are all technical Vedantic terms. Adrinda, namgenu andre, there are pashas, there are indriya akarshanas, and there is knowledge, no knowledge, there is jiva, ajiva, and all kinds of things are there. But basically, in the first section, we are advised that the Atma, which we are seeking about through the help of our Dehatma, that is really Anantam, Vishwarupam, and all that is there. So we attain it. So this is a little pondering over. This Upanishad is trying to tell you that Dehatma is one, Paramatma is another, but through Dehatma, you have to seek the Paramatma and Anubhava and Pratyaksha of that. So now let us go to this next one, 11th one. Heli Babu, Gnatva Devam Sarvapashapahani.
Jnatva devam sarvapashapahanihi. Jnatva devam sarvapashapahanihi.
Kshinaihi klesaihi.
Kshinaihi kleshaihi. Kshinaihi kleshaihi.
Janma mrityu prahanihi.
Janma mrityu prahanihi. Janma mrityu prahanihi.
Tasyabhidhyanatu.
Tasyabhidhyanat. Tasyabhidhyanat.
Tritiyam deha bhede.
Tritiyam deha bhede. Tritiyam deha bhede.
Vishvaiswaryam.
Vishvaishwaryam. Vishvaishwaryam.
Kevalam atmaka aptakamaha. Kevala
Aptakamaha. Kevalam aptakamaha.
So we are only to look to the Vishwamaya Nivritti, and Maya also means illusion. Vishwamaya Nivritti means cessation of all illusions. All illusions must go on. And when once the Vishwamaya, the illusions disappear, then what would further happen? That is being described in the 11th. So by resorting to a textual study, you are able to get rid of the Deha Bheda, and you will be realizing the Vishwa Aishwaryam and also fulfill your desire. So here notice, Abhidhyana Trutiyam Deha Bhede Vishvaiswaryam Kevala Aptakamaha. Aptakamaha means trying to obtain whatever desire you have, whatever kamas are there in you. And Devam Gnatva, when once you know about Paramatma, then what would happen? What is the advantage? Sarvapasha apahanihi. Apahani means failure. So ella pasagalu fail agatte. Andre artha enu, you will be relieved of them. And if you happen to study the scriptures, what will happen? Klesha nasha will happen. Klesha nashaha. Janma mrityu prahanihi. See, prahanihi, that is, you will be able to get amrutatvam and klesha. You know, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna starts the 2nd chapter because Krishna found Arjuna ridden with the klesha. So that klesha pasha has got to be removed. Then that's why China klesha pasha and janma mrityu prahanihi. So it will be trying to prahani means remover, eraser. What would it? What would be janma and mrityu? These are the two problems: birth and death cycle. So we are all caught up in the cycle of birth and death because of the bandhas. And when you are doing your apasana and dhyana and all that, when all the attachments fail, then the klesha, dukkha, klesha means vishadam. So generally all people are unhappy. Whether vendor or a buyer, everybody is unhappy. So that's why Shankaracharya puts a thing, kasantoshaha manava. When you are born as a manava, there is no full happiness at all. Kasantoshaha manava. Like that. So janma mrityu aprahanihi tasya abhidhyanat. Abhidhyana means sit before him and keep on meditation. You know, some people go to temple and keep doing parayanam or bhajan or singing. So if that kind of activity were to be done in the presence of the Paramatma, then you will be able to get what you should obtain. What is that? Vishwaiswaryam. The Vishwaiswaryam means all-round prosperity and wealth. Now, Yetat gneyam nityameva atma samstham nata param veyatavyam vikinchitu. This ಹೇಳಿದಿವಲ್ವಾ? So, nityam atma samstham gneyam. So you have to try to uncover that Paramatma seated in you secretly. And for a person, there is no other higher timetable than trying to know your own self. ಅವನಿಗೆ ಅವನು ಯಾರೋ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಬೈತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. Know yourself, sir, but who you are. First you know yourself, then you talk to me. Like that people are talking. But ಅದು ಮಾಮೂಲು ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. But in a Vedantic framework, that Atma, Dehatma, and is also that Atma which is there in Dehatma is basically Devatma. So, ಈ ದೇವಾತ್ಮವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಪತ್ತೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. How is it possible? Nityameva. Constantly, regularly, you have to be doing meditation program. So, there are people who go to meditation classes every day. There are many ashramas who conduct meditation classes or yoga classes and try to elevate them to the higher planes of spirituality. Adrinda avidhyana tutiyam. Nityameva atma samstham pneyam. Meelo emunnado dani kanukkovali. Atma samstham. Samstham means placed, available. So what is available in our Atma, that only you have got to know. And there is nothing other than that you have to seek knowledge. So Vedanta Gnana Nityatvam Tattva Gnana Artha Darshanam is what is being opted by all people. Therefore, Atma Samstham Gnanam Gneyam. Yakendre Shankaracharya and all acharyas tell that Gnana Devahi Kaivalyam Natu Anyatha. So the same is being pointed out. So Gnana Viddare Kaivalya Praptu. What kind of Gnana it is? Adhyatma Gnana. And not only that, Bhokta Bhogyam Preritaram. So Bhokta is enjoyer and Bhogyam, the object to be enjoyed, and this Bhokta Bhogyam, all that is being brought to your thing, that energy is there near you in order to enjoy. That's what is called Prerita. Prerita, Preritaro, Preritaraha. Prerana andre nimgeಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. They are trying to initiate you and push you to the meditate. And that kind of thing is called in three ways: Bhokta, Bhogyam, Preritaram. So in this three manner, Brahma is present. And that is Brahma. Heli, Vanher Yatha Yonigatasya Murtihi.
ಗುರುಗಳೇ
Yeah, Heli.
ಏತಜ್ಞೇಯಂ ನಿತ್ಯಮೇವ ಅಲ್ವಾ?
Now we are going to 31.
ಏತಜ್ಞೇಯಂ ನಿತ್ಯಮೇವ ಒಂದೇ ಅರ್ಥ
Yes, sir.
ಹಾ ಹೇಳಿ ಮುನ್ರಾಜ್ ಅವರ, ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿ. ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದೆ.
Vanher Yatha Yonigatasya Murtihi.
Vahanir yata yonigatasya murti. Vahanir yata yonigatasya murti.
Nadrusyate.
Na drishyate. Rana drishyate.
Naiva Chalinga Nashaha.
Naiva chalinga nashaha. Naiva chalinga nashaha.
Sabhuya Eva.
Sabhuya eva. Sabhuya eva.
Indhanayoni Gruhyaha.
Indanayoni gruvyaha. Indanayoni gruvyaha.
Tadobhayam Vai Pranavena Dehe.
Stavobhayam vai pranavena hai.
Pranavena Dehe.
Pranavena dehe. Pranavena dehe.
Swadeham Aranim Krutva.
Swadeha maranim krutva. Swadeha maranim krutva.
Pranavam Chottaranim.
Pranavam chottaranim. Pranavam chottaranim.
Dhyana Nirmathanat Bhyasat.
Dhyana nirmatanabhyasata. Dhyana nirmatanabhyasata. Devam, sir.
Next one is
Devam.
Ye Linganasha Sabhuya Eva Tadobhayam Vai Pranavena Dehe. Swadeha Maranim Krutva. Yes, I am here. Pranavam Chottara Jhanena.
Dhyanena. Dhyanena.
Nirmathanabhyasad Devam.
Nirmatanabhyasadevam.
Pasyen Nigudhavatu.
Pashen nigudavattu. Pashen nigudavattu.
So here the Rishi is giving us examples so that we understand the concept which is being driven in this, that Deha Atma Shakti, Parama Atma Shakti. Yes. So the slogan, the mantras 14, 15, 16 are examples quoted by the Rishi. That what will be the what would be the output of objects, you will not be able to see that unless you put forth effort to make it visible. That's exactly so. Like that, even the Paramatma is seated in our Dehatma, but through constant effort, we should be able to uncover that Paramatma in our Dehatma. And how, like, Kendra, he gives example. One he yonihi yatha. Where is Agni residing? He resides in the ghee. He resides in the logs. So vanhehi yonihi gatasya yatha murtihi nadrusyate naivata linganasha. So in sticks or in small pieces of wood, though you don't see Agni there, but you will see Agni in the night and when there is an effort. Swadeha, no, I'm sorry, 12th one, 13th. Vanhe yatha yonigatasya. Like one he who goes into the yoni. What is the yoni? That wooden pieces are the yoni. But when he is not out from the wooden pieces, then naiva drusyate, naiva cha linganasaha. Saha bhuyaha eva indhana yoni gruhya tadvobhayam vai pranavena dehe. This exactly is the experience of all people. Ellaram hodandanu illi people are all good, but they don't show their goodness. But when you demand and work for that, their goodness will cut out. That's exactly how the slokas have been described. And Swadeha Maranim Krutva. Fourteenth one.
Swadeha Maranam Krutva, Swadeha Maranim Krutva,
Pranavam cha Uttararanim.
Pranavam Chotararanim, Pranavam Chotararanim,
Dhyana Nirmathana.
Yana Nirmatana, Yana Nirmatana,
Anabhyasa Devam.
Anabhyasa Devam, Anabhyasa Devam,
Pasyet Nigudhavatu.
Ashena Nigudavattu, Ashena Nigudavattu.
So in all trees, in all wooden pieces, Agni is dormant. So in order to make the dormant stage to Agni, you have to do some pujas, Agni Karya, Agni Pasthana, Agni, etc. All that will be helpful to be able to know the standing examples. So to begin with, he has given the example of a stick wherein there is Agni when you look for that, but then that Purohit will be encouraging the Ahuti, pranayama. He will be just doing it probably according to the prescription, but still there will be some difference. So, okay, we'll stop here. We'll continue next. Om Tat Satu.
Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Gunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavavai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Ma Vitvishavavai Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sar Sri